January 14th, 1944. U.S. Thunderbolt pilot Don Gentile is having a very bad day. He shot down 2 Focke Wulf 190s to become an ace, but it doesn't look like he'll survive long enough to enjoy it. Another 190 is chasing him at low altitude, and Gentile's out of ammunition and can't fight back. Gentile starts talking to himself, trying to keep his head in the game.
Keep calm, Gentile. Don't panic. Keep calm.
In the meantime, the 190 keeps firing at Gentile's now badly damaged P-47. But Gentile is one heck of a pilot, and every time he somehow manages to wrangle his massive T-boat just out of the Germans' line of fire. Yet as the fight continues, Gentile quickly loses hope. He knows it's just a matter of time before he gets shot down, so he decides to try and gain enough altitude for a safe bailout. Before he does, he flips on his radio one last time.
Horseback, horseback. This is Gentile. If I don't get back, tell him I got 2 190s.
Wow, even in a moment like this, he still wants his earlier victories to be recorded. That's a fighter pilot, all right. Through and through to the bitter end. Now Gentile pulls his T-boat up into a near vertical climb. The 190 follows, firing all the way. Gentile's big fighter starts to shudder and buck, nearing a stall as the speed rapidly bleeds off. But just before the Thunderbolt tumbles back into the 190 sights, the German suddenly stops firing. My God, Gentile has done it. He survived long enough for the enemy fighter to run out of bullets. The 190 has no choice now but to break off and head for home. Gentile does the same, his flight suit completely soaked with sweat. The new ace has survived to fight another day, but just barely.
When Don Gentile lands back at his home base, he's still so rattled that he can hardly make it through his debriefing. And yet, his squadron mates seem to take his ordeal completely in stride, at least on the surface. Like most high-spirited young fighter jocks, they'd rather not focus on the all-too-real possibility of dying. So instead, they transformed Gentile's gut-wrenching experience into a drinking song, sung to the tune of a wartime favorite called Tramp, 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 The Boys Are Marching. It goes like this.
Help, help, help me forward, down here by the railroad tracks. 2 190 60 round, and put them to the ground. Tell them I got you if I don't make it back.
This type of dark humor is pretty common among us fighter pilots, mainly because our job is so dangerous. But then, it always has been, and always will be. It just goes with the territory. A few weeks after Gentile's epic dogfight is immortalized in music, he and the rest of his squadron are re-equipped with a P-51 Mustang. Most of them are happy about the switch. But even though the Mustang is a magnificent fighter, I doubt it would have stood up to the punishment Gentile's big T-bolt absorbed from the Focke Wulfs. Even so, Gentile's success in the air accelerates when he starts flying the 51. Soon, he's the leading American ace in the entire European theater.
And at this point, he's going to be sent back stateside for a war bond tour. And actually, he achieves the number of 30 victories before this happens. So the press is brought out to the airfield for the big event, his final mission, and they ask him to put on a little show for them, for the cameras.
Never one to be shy about his flying abilities, Gentile happily agrees.
He came in to do a buzz job, a low pass, and he forgot there was a rise in the field there at their base, and actually hits the rise with the bottom of his aircraft and plows back up into the air with pieces flying and grass and mud flying, somehow brings the airplane down without killing himself. But it's a total wreck. And his commander, Don Blakesley, is absolutely livid.
An ace and great flyer himself, Blakesley isn't about to make special allowances for star pilots. Despite the fact that Gentile has 22 kills, Blakesley not only sends him home for a war bonds tour, but sends him home for good.
And it was an unfortunate end to an otherwise very colorful and glorious career with the 4th Fighter Group.
Yet displaying the same perseverance that helps get him through his dogfight with the 190s, Don Gentili finds a way to get back into the cockpit.
Gentili is assigned to right field, where he's going to become one of the test pilots, along with a lot of the other aces and top pilots that have come back from the various combat theaters.
It's the same job given to America's top ace, Richard Bong, when his combat career ends in early 1945. But unlike Bong, who's killed during a test flight of America's first operational jet fighter, the P-80, Gentili survives his time as a test pilot. Then, on January 28, 1951, Gentili takes a 2-seat trainer version of the P-80, called the T-33, up for a routine flight with a young sergeant in the back seat as a passenger.
And somehow something happens, and the aircraft crashes, killing both of them.
It's an eerie parallel to the way Richard Bong is killed 6 years earlier.
It's another one of those tragic stories of just a routine flight and an accident killing somebody of his experience and his achievements. Just a tragic, tragic loss.
Don Gentili is only 31 years old when he dies, but his 22 confirmed victories are an enduring record of accomplishment and still make him one of the top scoring U.S. aces of all time. That little song, made up by Don Gentili's fellow Thunderbolt pilots after his dogfight, may seem trivial, but it's like whistling in a graveyard. It really belies the mortal danger he faced. That same danger confronts all combat pilots on every mission we fly. The ability to channel the inevitable fear that results is one of the most important survival skills in a dogfight. Gentili never gave up, and he was somehow able to fly his massive P-47 Thunderbolt to a standoff against 2 more maneuverable Focke Wulf 190s. But he was also able to control his fear during a battle, which may be even more impressive. I'm Major Paul Moga. I'll see you next time on Showdown Air Combat.